Today is the first day of Elul, and it's very interesting because one might think to himself or herself that Elul cannot come at a worse time. If it's Elul, that means the Yom Tovim are only a month away, and we're in the midst of the pandemic, and life has been upended, and we think to ourselves, how are we going to manage? On the other hand, we can look at it as Elul could not come at a better time, because we are struggling, and the year is coming to an end, and Rosh Hashanah means that we have a whole new opportunity in front of us, and it's the season of tshuva, and the attitude for the Jewish people always has to be one of being positive, that we're going to make the best of it and improve and come out stronger. And the davening that takes place during the month of Elul and on Rosh Hashanah through Aseret Yemei Tshuva to the final Shema Yisrael at Ne'ilah, that has an effect on the entire coming year. There's a story about Rav Moshe Feinstein Zatzal that in his older years he had to have a pacemaker put in, and he thought to himself, if I would have had just an extra krechs or a shakel or a kvetch, a little more effort in my davening on Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, maybe I could have avoided this pacemaker. And that's the Jewish attitude, that we have an opportunity in front of us. So how do we make the most of this Elul, and especially because of the challenges that we face? I mentioned on Wednesday in the video that outlined what we're trying to accomplish for davening outside if need be, that it's important to remain a community. And even though we have one-on-one contact or in small groups, families and maybe some friends are able to have a closer connection, but the feeling of being connected on a larger scale, it's very hard to replace that. But Elul is a time for chesed. The Gemara says in Masechta Shabbos, Kol hamarachim al habrios, if we show compassion for others, Hashem has compassion for us. Rav Chaim Shmulevitz in 1972, and the world was in a much different place. And some of us who remember those days might be pining for that. The world made sense and things were simpler. But it was still Elul, and it was right before Rosh Hashanah. And he wanted to give chizuk, encouragement. How are we going to face judgment? And he quoted this Gemara, that we have to worry about others. And if we have projects that we embrace together as a community, that will bond us together. So for example, I'd like to throw out the following, and we'll have new initiatives every week. But think about those who are less fortunate. What about those who are residents at Eta Israel? They used to rely on coming out on Shabbos and joining the davening in shuls and being able to be hosted in people's homes. And that's not happening. And even though they're together, but it must be very difficult for them not to have the routine of being a part of the community. What about cooking for Eta Israel? Even though they have staff and they have cooks, but what if we were to cook and share a Shabbos meal, not in person, but we would provide some meals on Shabbos for the Eta Israel residents? That would be a great chesed, and we could do that as a concerted effort, as a team effort. Julie Handelman is in charge of that. She's been doing this for the past several months. So I would recommend those who have the culinary skills to get in touch with Julie Handelman and offer to cook a dish, one course, something, a side dish, a dessert. And that way we're also connecting with Eta Israel. We're thinking of others. And again, if we show Rahmanas for others, Hashem will have compassion on us. And the world needs it. We need that right now. Another point, there's no question that this pandemic has really taken a hit on people's finances. There's no question. Salary cuts, if not, God forbid, even worse. And we can do something about that. We can raise money. We did this before Pesach, and it was an amazing campaign. And there's no reason why we can't do this also before the Yom Tovim. There have been collections over the course of the summer and private distributions. Here I would like to insert myself that if you want to help others, and whatever the check is, whatever the amount of money, it's going to make a difference, please contact me. You know how to reach me, and we'll distribute. Bli neder, You have my word. I'm saying bli neder, but we're going to distribute the money to people in our community who really are having a difficult time. And this is just another example of taking care of each other. So let's go into Elul strong with the attitude that we're going to be merachem al habrios, we're going to show concern for others and not just worry about ourselves. And with that, the last month of the year will end on this very high note, and that will prepare us for a new year, haba aleinu latova, where Hashem will bestow His rachamim in ways that we can't even fathom and imagine. And that should be the bracha for the coming year. Wishing everybody a good Shabbos and a good Chodesh. Stay well.